Today, my topic is working as hard as Trump. I think about this a lot when trying to think about how to bring the Trump era to an end. Why are we here? Who would have thought that after Biden defeated Trump, that Trump could claw his way back, retain control of the Republican Party, and win the presidential election? I certainly did not anticipate us being able to do that. And of course, there are many factors in that contributed to his accomplishment, some of which we may never know or might not know for a long time. But today, I want to talk about some of the attributes of Trump that, in my view, really have contributed to his success. And why do I think it's important? I think it's important because if we are going to remove Trump from power by defeating him and defeating the GOP, we have to understand and perhaps even learn from the elements of his success. So today, I want to just talk about Trump as a hard worker. And I think because many of us don't like what Trump has to say, that we tend to underrate this attribute of his, which is persistence and industry. That Trump is incredibly hardworking. From the time that he decided he was going to be president, he has worked at it. He's worked at it. He's worked at being the political figure that he is, without respect to whether everyone in the country approves of that or not. And in the meantime, the rest of us, I want to submit, the rest of us have not worked quite as hard. And also, we have all gotten very, very tired during the Trump era, which is now, it's nearly in its 10th year. I think in the summer, it will be 10 whole years since Trump declared that he was running for president. And here we are today, talking about Trump, worrying about the future of our nation under Trump. So that's why I think it's important to acknowledge how hardworking Trump is, and the absolute commitment that he brings to his point of view, which of course I find baleful, but we still have to recognize this man really has wanted what he has achieved, and he's committed himself to it, no matter how unpleasant or distasteful. And we don't have to be immoral like Trump is, but we can still learn from that. And I find myself thinking about it when I think to myself, oh my gosh, we've given away the keys to the kingdom. Like, the party system has let us down. There's no other equally formidable person active in politics who seems to be Trump's equal in terms of either being out there making a bid for taking Trump's place as a more moral national figure. I don't see anybody who is in the wings. Anyone. I don't see anyone. Not Bernie, not Pritzker, not Hakeem Jeffries, not Kamala Harris. I don't see any of them understanding in quite the same way and having the sense of the people that Trump, for better or worse, he has a sense of people. So that's the first thing I want to say. The second thing I want to say is that because he's been such a tireless personal proponent, over time, Trump has changed the entire political landscape of this country, and even partly like the cultural landscape of this country, into something that is more like what he wants it to be. That this personal investment in his own greatness, in his own eminence, has gradually worn everyone else down. That's how powerful Trump's perseverance is. So I want to put that out there as being something very important to ponder, to consider in your own political lives, and the way you conduct yourself in politics. I think it's very important to be fully committed. And the other thing that I want to say about Trump's tirelessness, well, first of all, I want to say one other thing about persistence, which is whenever I see somebody who is persistent that way, I think of George Washington. And the reason that I think of George Washington is the real reason that George Washington, as commander in chief, won the Revolutionary War was simply that he left home when hostilities broke out and the colonies were mustering an army and he was appointed to lead it. He left home and he literally did not return to his home and to private life for 8 years. He stayed in the field. He stayed in the field against the British, who he did not think could be beaten. Nobody thought that we could beat Britain at that time. And George Washington had a horrible army, but he understood that as long as he kept the fight going, that the chances of the colonies prevailing would go up. And he was absolutely right. So remember that about persistence. It's extremely important in achieving a long-term aim. And the final thing I want to say about Trump, getting back to Trump and his style, is that Trump is tireless as a communicator. This is why we're so tired. He talks. Could anybody believe that he could be out campaigning, holding rallies so often during the 2024 campaign season? I just couldn't believe it. And he was obviously tired. He was obviously, not making a very good showing. He wasn't, but he was out there every day speaking to whoever would listen to him, trying to change their mind and get their support. And to my mind, that is the single reason that Trump won in 2024. He certainly was not more able than Kamala as an executive. And he wasn't even as intellectual as Kamala, or as thoughtful, but he just kept pushing. And the reason that I think this communication piece is very important is that even now we have all these politicians, they're going around not being with the people. They are holding to their official positions, their elite status as elected leaders. They aren't out helping people organize demonstrations, or for the most part, there have been some exceptions, but for the most part, they're not out there talking to people and giving their very seasoned and a very knowledgeable assessment of what we should be demonstrating about, what should we be opposing. I don't understand why politicians who oppose Trump, why they are not out there with their people. And I would say that that is also for anybody who wants to have influence over this nonpartisan opposition movement. It's very, very important that you not be afraid to talk to the press, to stand by your positions and defend them personally, and not be a perfectionist about it. I think that it's so, so important to show a thoroughgoing commitment, and also to just be an authentic person in politics and not be managed, not be looking at polling, really have a point of view that you embody. So that is my brief take today on working as hard as Trump. I personally know that I can't devote 100% of my time to politics, but thinking about that as a standard is important in how I make decisions about what to do politically. I do want my involvement to make a difference. And to my mind, what's going to make a difference is getting out there with people and talking to them directly and being authentic about it and not being afraid and not giving up. So thank you very much for listening to me. And I hope that you'll share this recording with other people if you find something valuable or inspiring in it. And I hope to talk with you again. Thank you.